Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's BDF44. So I tried to stay away from this topic um, because I don't think I can contribute anything to the conversation. I don't. I don't think there's anything that my brain and my circumstances and my point of view can really contribute um, to Lil Nas X and his devil shoes in his music video. I did not watch the music video. It's not for me, quite honestly. Someone told me that there was a guy giving another guy a lap dance. Not exactly my demographic. So I kind of stayed away from it. Devil shoes. I'm a praying guy. It's just not going to work for me. But I will say that I saw something that Lil Nas X posted, and I'm not going to quote him because I don't have the direct quote, but I can say what it said more or less was, everybody want to talk about the kids. How about we talk about them kids in them cages? And that resonated with me because that's something I've been thinking about and had on my heart for a while now. Uh, I know a lot of different people have said a lot of different things about why the circumstances are as they are, both Lil Nas X and everything he's got going in our immigration system and why it is set up this way. But I still don't think there's any reason for children to be in cages. Now, I've made videos about maybe a video about this a year and a half ago, or a year ago rather, when I first found out about this. I don't have the information on whose regime it was that put those kids in the cages. From my understanding, it was Obama's regime who started this process and Trump's regime who carried it through. I really don't have an opinion about that because I could care less. Whoever puts kids in cages is a bad guy, period. I don't give a damn who, what, why, when, whose kids they are, what happened there. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. If you're putting kids in cages and they're not safe, both mentally and overall in their environment, if they're not safe, you're a bad guy, and that's a problem. So I could get with Lil Nas X on that. I can get with him on that. I can't speak to his personal choices as it pertains to how he wants to go about his career. I can't speak to the Nike situation and whether or not they sanctioned his shoe and now are backing off when they're seeing the backlash. I can't speak to that. I can't speak to whether or not Lil Nas X and his lifestyle is being catered to children, and whether or not that's appropriate because I'm not a father. So it's just a lot of stuff that I just don't have context for. I don't have the right point of view. I have a point of view, but I'm also aware of that point of view being something that's lacking said context. But what I will say is I don't have a problem with people expressing who they are. And contrary to what a lot of people in my community feel, I really don't have a problem with the agenda as it pertains to celebrating your people, celebrating your culture, celebrating who you are. If I can stand where I'm sitting and talk about what matters to me, which is NBA basketball and various stuff that I like to talk about on here, then I shouldn't have a problem with someone picking up a microphone or picking up their phone and doing the same thing with different subjects. And I don't see that as any different as it pertains to that community. I just don't. Now, does it get a little tricky for me when we start talking about what we allow our kids to see, what images we're pressing upon them, and where that stands morally? Yeah, that gets a little tricky for me. But I can argue a lot of different points in that regard, and I don't really come to any conclusion that really settles with me very well. So I just claim ignorance and walk away. But I do know kids should not be in cages. And the last thing I'll say about the Lil Nas X thing is this. Someone mentioned the metaphor that he was trying to say, and I understood it. Essentially, a lot of people over the years, and what he's been saying, particularly in the Christian faith, have basically pushed away the homosexual lifestyle and all alternative sexual lifestyles. They've kind of taken what it is that these individuals embody and have kind of said that they separate them from the faith. And I think that that's what Lil Nas X is trying to respond to. He's essentially saying, you guys told me to go to hell for being this way, so I'm going to go to hell being this way, and I'm going to give the devil a lap dance because F you guys, and I don't care what you have to say because I'm going to love myself anyway. When I think about kids who have, or not kids, grown-ups too, but individuals who have quit on life who've gone to drugs and have taken that addiction route because of their pain and because of their struggles in this regard. I think about what people who've lost their lives in these situations and in some attacks and some brutal circumstances that were unfair and unjust, and related solely to their lifestyle. I think that those individuals deserve a right to stand up and give us all the finger too. You know what I mean? If Lil Naz X is speaking for every person killed, standing up for their sexuality and what it is that they believe in, have at it, brother. Do what you're gonna do. Do I want to roll with the devil on anything? No. But I find the devil in the details, not necessarily in symbolism. And what I mean by that is, I can look at Lil Nas X shoes and say, okay, I see a pentagram on there. I see something what looks like blood on the shoes. It's very, very, very Satanist stuff, right? Fair. A lot of people are going to take those images and relate that to all things evil. But the reality is, I've been in church, and as I've just illustrated to you guys right now, a lot of the stuff that shuns people, sends people into darkness, sends people into depression, sends people away from faith is faith. It is the religious stuff. It's the cross. It's the holy water. It's a lot of stuff that's supposed to be holier than thou that ultimately sends people away into exile. And for me, knowing that having someone change who they are in their DNA isn't possible, shunning people isn't fair. So when you start talking about pushing people away because of their differences or their beliefs or because of their whatever, you understand that I'm telling you that I see that as devilish. You know, that's not you sitting up here with a pentagram on your head. You may be sitting here saying you love the Lord, but you're sending people to their doom. You're sending people into spaces where nothing but darkness will follow them. Mental spaces that are maybe difficult for them to come back from because of what you decided to do in shunning them for who it is that they find themselves being. That's devilish to me. More so devilish than blood and some damn shoes and a freaking pentagram, okay? I'm just going to be honest. I've never been one that subscribed to a whole lot of symbolism. I understand symbolism. I understand the importance of paying close attention to spiritual energy as it pertains to symbolism. But when it comes to stuff like this, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't feel a whole lot of spiritual energy coming off of them damn shoes. As somebody who prides himself on being spiritually inclined, there's nothing going on there spiritually. It's just not. I'm here to tell you guys from my perspective, there's nothing going on there. What you have there is a young kid being rebellious, playing with forces that he doesn't understand. And the rest of us need to recognize that as just that. He's a young kid who's giving us all the finger, and this is his creative way of doing it. Now, the marketing scheme behind him using all this devilish symbolism, to them, it may mean spiritual things. But to that young fella, nah, he's just a gay guy who's sick of people telling him that he can't be himself and love the Lord at the same time. And it's a million other people that feel the exact same way all over the world who will put on his shoes, who will watch his video and appreciate what he does, and then may leave their house and be solid human beings, decent people, not looking to harm nobody, not looking to take nothing from somebody, and certainly not looking to throw children in cages. No. And then you'll have people who claim to be Christians who will throw kids in cages and justify it by using the Lord's name as a means of saying that they're doing the right thing, when we know that's where the evil actually is. That's the spirituality. That's where you get the bad vibes from. It's from the actions of those who tend to use the Lord as a means of saying, hey, you can't be yourself. And then I think about a guy like Donnie Mcclurkin. You know, I saw something that was said yesterday of somewhere. He was quoted saying something along the lines of because of his sexuality, he's going to live his life alone. You know, because of his faith in the Lord, he's going to make the sacrifice to live alone. Now, wow, if as a Christian person, I could say, well, that's honorable because you believe that what your lifestyle is wrong, and yet you're willing to sacrifice everything that comes with that for something greater than yourself. That's honorable. And not everybody can do that. And because not everybody can do that, I don't think the church should be shunning people who may not be able to do that. You got to help people along the way if you're seriously in the business of saving souls. You ain't going to just say, hey, don't come here because you're bad. Help them be good or whatever good is. But the acceptance isn't there. And nestled in that lack of acceptance is the evil that you're looking for in them damn shoes, people. It's the evil that you're looking for on those pentagrams and on those symbols are found in the actions of those who send others away. So if we want to start talking about good and evil, I don't think God is going to be looking at Lil Naz X saying, I'm going to throw you in hell because of those shoes, and then looking at those guys who are celebrating putting children in cages and saying, you know what, but you said the name of Jesus, so it's all good. Go to heaven and enjoy yourselves. That's not how that works. Good is good and bad is bad, and the Lord is not confused about that. Even though we happen to be at times, he's not. You're not fooling him. Lil Naz X, I don't know that guy's soul. He could be a horrible guy. He could be a great guy. But I know for a fact we're not going to point at him and say, you're what's wrong with the world, and ignore what's actually going on out of here. So that's what I wanted to touch on. As far as Donnie Mcclurkin is concerned, that's kind of sad to me, though. Like, as a heterosexual man, I understand that I'll never have to go through nothing like that. That any marriage that I involve myself in is probably going to be celebrated by my family and friends, and everybody's going to appreciate the fact that I'm putting forth a traditional love life and bringing forth a traditional form of family and all of that. But what if I go home and act a damn fool with my wife? Do all the worst stuff to get me canceled toward my wife. But I'm sitting here saying, God bless the Lord and F Lil Nas X's shoes, so I guess I'm a good guy, huh? No. Your actions and my actions are going to speak for me. Not what I have on, not the symbolism, not these wonderful videos that I make. No, when I get off this thing right here and I walk over towards someone else, how I treat them is how I'll be remembered. You know what I mean? So that's what it's all about. Let's just treat each other better, start accepting people better, start overcoming the different maniacal things that we have going on in our cultures that allow us to shun people for their differences and act as if that's not bullying, act as if we're not deterrents to their mental health. You know what I'm saying? Because we are when we do that. I don't have to be someone who relates to you to simply not want to see you suffer. Okay? I don't have to be someone that can feel your pain or even cares what you got going on to not want to see you suffer. Some things are just a human decency type of a thing where it's just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm over here and I'm fine. But I don't want to hear news about that guy getting pummeled because of who and how he gets down. Nah, that doesn't move me in a positive way. That's evil to me. Much more evil than the shoes. Okay? So that's what I got, man. Be careful what you let your kids watch. There are entities out there that will use symbolism to push their evil agenda and then will follow that up with negativity. Please don't think that such a thing can exist. They do. There's a lot of people out here doing a lot of evil stuff. But some are identifiable. Is that a word? Yeah. And others are not so much. But you do the very, very best you can in raising your kids. Do the very, very best you can in being the best person you can be. And if you have a truth that you need to live, if you need to hear it from me, you're all right with me, man. I don't think what's rolling around in my head should influence you one way or another as it pertains to how your esteem is. But if you need someone to say that you're cool, bro, you're cool. Okay? You got my acceptance. I may not be able to do what it is that you do, but to not want to see you suffer because of what it is that you do shouldn't be too difficult for me. My name is BDF44. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.